All right, what's going on, boys? We are live. Keg and Coop doing the weekly NASCAR Cup Series pre-race video. This week we're at Sonoma, the Toyota Save Mart 350. As always, I have my guy Coop with me. Coop, you ever end the night up money, but you felt like you got kicked in the dick because you gave so much of the winnings back at the end of the night?
Yeah, happens.
That's where
Happens.
I'm at, bro. I woke up today like a swift kick to the dick immediately. But you know what, bro? Like I was just telling you, we're at Sonoma. Normally, I think I have a pretty good idea of what direction I'm going to go in and which direction I think the race really goes. Whether or not you and I talk a ton or not. But this week, I have no idea what to think. I was heavy into UFC 275 prep. I didn't watch practice or qualifying. I only saw the data. So definitely going to be leaning on you to get me up to speed. So first off, anybody that watched the show last week, Coop and I picked up over 20 units on the winner last week. We got Joey Logano home. Coop, that race that we thought would be cut and dry was anything but cut and dry. But we got the result that we needed at the end. So thoughts on last week and thoughts entering this week, buddy. How you been?
Yeah, it was a good race. There was more, excitement than what I thought there would be. I was expecting a rather boring race. But when it was all said and done, it come down to pit road strategy. And Logano, played it well. I mean, he wasn't very good throughout the race. And then, he laid down the two tire pit stop, had a good pit stop, and showed that his car was good enough to be good enough to win in clean air, and outbattle Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Yeah, NASCAR's a wicked bitch, man. Saturday, we lost at 12-1 because of a caution with 3 laps to go. And then Sunday we win it when we probably really shouldn't have. I mean, we had Kyle Busch live at a much worse number. But yeah, I
10-1. I mean, come on.
yeah, I mean it's but I mean, yeah, that's just the way NASCAR is. So, everybody knows we're in a new car, right? And we've only been to one road course so far this year. It was Coda, right? So I had sent a message to you earlier in the week. I was like, Coop, how heavily do you think we should weigh Coda because it's the only data we have on the next gen cars on road courses, and you thought that we should definitely take it into consideration. So tell me your thoughts on how you approached it pre-race and how it looks after practice and qualifying.
I mean, these road courses, they're all their own, self. You really can't, like some of these 1.5 mile tracks, flat tracks, and stuff like that can be comparable to each other, but the road courses are all their own animal, basically. But I do feel, that Coda is the best comparison, but I don't know how close that really is to it. So, I don't like road courses from a betting perspective. And I don't mind watching them, though, from a viewer's perspective. The reason I don't like it from a betting perspective is that, we cannot control the race very much whatsoever. It all comes down to pit strategy for the most part. Sure, there's pit strategy in other races, that can dictate, how things play out. But the pit strategy here dictates a huge, huge amount because track position is king here. Because you're not going to drive from 8th place to 1st place solely on your car on a road course. You just get too far behind. The passing's tough, and you're going to need some help from restarts to gain a couple positions, from pit stops to gain positions, and you just don't do it. I mean, look at last night, the 42 truck, man. That might have been the best truck on the track, man, next to Kyle Busch. It would have been great to see the two of them up there, battling it out at the end. But, it had its issues, and it took forever for that truck to get back up front, solely because they were so far behind. You fall so far behind first and second place here. It's an uphill battle. Whereas, on these flat tracks, mile and a half, things like that, you can stay within a second to a second and a half, 2 seconds at most. Here, you're going to be 4, 5, 8, 10, 15, 20 seconds, depending upon what place you're in.
I mean, we have had success, though, at least making money on these road courses. We've hit a few stage ones, and we've hit the winners, but it seems like in the Cup Series, if you're going to hit a winner on this race, it's going to be like 7-1 or lower. Usually, the favorite runs pretty pure at Sonoma. Although we probably got a good number with Chastain earlier in the year. But so, all right, I took a peek at the odds, obviously, early in the week, and Larson and Elliott were like 5.5-1. Marty was like, I don't know, 8-9-1, and Kyle Busch was like 10-1, right? Now, after practice and qualifying, the two Hendrick studs are very, very heavily favored. Right now, they are both
350 to 450.
Yeah, Chase Elliott's 380 right now on DK. Larson 4-1. Obviously, Ross Chastain qualified and at least from the times looked like he practiced well. That car is the best car every single week. It's just stupid at this point. So what were your thoughts after watching practice and qualifying?
This is so tough. The amount of laps that are run during those practices are so minimal. And then, you don't know what they're doing. Are they just taking a couple laps around, to make sure that everything's right? And then they go, like, look at AJ Allmendinger, all right? Of the cars that ran 5 consecutive laps, he had the worst time, and he had the worst time by a significant amount. And the reason was, he ran 5 consecutive, but, on 1 or 2 of those laps, he was just pussyfooting around, making sure everything was right, So
right.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Then, you don't know if, the car slipped up here, the car slipped up there, they lost some time here, they lost some time there. And then, on top of all that, the weather is going to be completely different. They were racing in practice when it was 90 degrees plus. It was a slick track. Now today, it's going to be 20 degrees cooler, and the track's not going to be nearly as slick. So, how's that going to affect the cars? That, ran well, didn't run well, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know how much to put into this practice and, the qualifying. I mean, look at, Larson, Elliott, Chastain. They definitely put down the fastest laps yesterday. They were the 3 fastest cars, But once again, Kyle Busch is just sitting there, cruising on along, putting up good numbers, just being solid.
If you look at the 5 lap averages, I mean, Elliott was 79.81, Larson 79.85, and then Busch and Chastain were like 79.855. And so, I mean, the 4 cars that you and I thought going into the week were probably going to be fast here were fast here, right?
But now, again, like all them cars that put them laps down yesterday, they were in clean air, so to say, because you're not racing against each other during practice. There's nobody around you. All right. Well,
Right.
today there's going to be 40 cars around you. All right.
Right.
And, who knows what kind of laps you're going to put up, man. I mean, 79, you said for Larson, could become an 81 when he gets back in traffic,
Yep.
So who knows what's going to happen. It's so strategy driven, and we don't know what the strategy is going to be.
All right. So let's talk about who we expect to run well today. Obviously, the two Chevys, and then obviously Chastain, right? Now, you and I like Kyle Busch, but Marty, like you and I had talked about in our private.
Listen. All right, you didn't watch it. All right, Marty was back to his old typical self. The car sucks. The car wasn't good. All right. And he was negative Nelly as could be. So, Marty is a non-factor.
All right. So no Cole Pern season today, huh?
No. He was like, these cars just don't run like they used to, man.
All right. So
and then the other piece too about practice yesterday was it was one of the practices where it all came down to when you went out, because the later you went out, the times got better every single time.
Really?
Every single time. The later you went out,
that means that if that's true, then qualifying was just a wash.
Well, I mean, based upon what we saw yesterday, and that Larson, Elliott, and Chastain were really fast. Will they have that today? I don't know. I mean, like Larson and Elliott, they haven't been great this whole year. They've had average speed. And then they go out and they put down some monster laps, man. Like, is it just the track or, that they feel comfortable at, whatever, so on. I don't know.
Okay, so I want to talk about Ford a little bit, because they were good. They were good early in the year, and then they kind of disappeared for a while. But the last 2 weeks, you have to give it to them. Ford has been super strong. So like there are drivers that are in Fords. Like Michael McDowell is a road course ringer, right? Like people like Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney and Chase Briscoe and Harvick and Almirola, they're and obviously Austin Cindric, they are good on road courses. So
Almirola sucks, man.
All right, take out Almirola. Everybody else.
And I would say the biggest disappointment I had from watching that practice yesterday was Austin Cindric. Like, he was just never fast the whole time. And, like, nothing was said. He wasn't really shown. So, like, we don't know if he had issues, on the laps, or if the car was just flat out slow. Maybe they were trying something, different with his car versus some of the other cars to see if they can do it, and then they're going to fix it back up. I have no idea. But, Cindric is, he's a really good young, road course driver. But he was really, just disappointing.
So what do you expect from the Penske cars? And like Briscoe obviously is solid. Harvick.
That's an area I might want to attack, when it comes to top four, because like none of those drivers from that manufacturer are elite road course racers.
Right.
They're solid to, average to below average type of racers. So I think, if one of them win today or even finish in the top three, it's a case of, strategy and not the best car ended up in that position.
I'll buy that, I guess. But now, in saying that, right, you were talking about manufacturer. I don't know what the odds are on like Buescher and McDowell to be the top Ford, but you're telling me one of those guys today can't be the top Ford?
So we kind of So hold on, we'll skip that. Talking about winners, and we'll go straight to this because, throughout this, my strategy is all right. So do I want to lay low and let the race come to me, and then just place one bet like I did last night on Kyle Busch, and hope it pays off. And although the win wasn't very juicy or whatever, it was at max for me because it was the only bet I laid. All right. Or Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson have saturated the market because of what they did. And there's so many other great numbers out there. All right. And do I want to take some shots on those? But then the other part of me, the smart
in terms of outright, or are you talking manufacturer?
No, manufacturer, just in general.
Right.
So then the other part of me says, look, you could end up losing a lot of money today, taking these gambles. All right. So I was looking at the top Ford, and it's an area that I want to exploit. That part of me said, because of exactly what you said. McDowell you can get for $1,000, and I think Buescher 1,000 and McDowell for 1,100. And they put down some fast laps. But if you look at their speed, they weren't very great, over the 5-lap run. Right. So I was like, do I want to do that? And then, I started looking deeper, and I'm like, fuck, man. Keselowski, he's horrible on road tracks, but he loves to play strategy. The only way the guy makes the playoffs is if he wins. So I'm pretty sure he's going to play some strategy. All right. And I can get him for plus 3,000. And then the other part of me said, well, look, Buescher put down some good laps. Why can't Keselowski? And then you look deeper. And if you look deeper, I think he had either the first or second best time for those 5 laps out of the Fords. So, I don't know.
Keselowski's 30-1.
Yeah, to be the top Ford.
Imagine.
But again, do I?
But this is the kind of day. This is the You bet that expecting to lose, right? Obviously, when you bet that, you expect it's going to lose. But that being said, this is the kind of day where that ticket, a ticket like that, could cash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's that for top Ford. I think there's another manufacturer I want to exploit, but for a different reason. But
so I'm going to make probably at least one bet pre-race. I don't know, probably not, I guess, in the outright market, but I think looking today, I think that Kyle Busch has an overwhelming advantage to be the top Toyota. I think that is not a bad price at 2-1.
I mean, yes, I agree, but I don't like that number.
Coop, he's got to be 5 guys though.
And I mean, when I was looking at that practice, all right, the whole time I was watching it was like, all right, Toyota's a lot better than what they're putting down laps, other than Kyle Busch, because like Denny Hamlin had some issues during practice here and there. Chris Bell, had steering issues the whole time, so throw his number out because they've gone back and they've changed all that and they're going to fix it, and he should be back to normal, hopefully. Truex just sucked. All right. Bubba put down some better laps than what you would have expected, but he wasn't that great. And then Kurt Busch, was just solid old Kurt Busch,
Yeah,
But
he's
I
so
think they're
good
going to
here.
race better than what they practice.
Kurt Busch is so good at this track when you look at his past numbers. I understand why you took the big shot on Bubba too,
Hell yeah.
to be the top.
And I'll take 101 when I'm only have to beat 5 drivers. I don't care if
Yeah.
the 5 drivers are significantly better.
100%.
This is a race where it could pan out because of all the shenanigans and strategies that happen and go on.
I completely agree with you. But that being said, I'm not sure that there's not value in that Kyle Busch number when you consider how good that car has been all year, how good he is on road courses. I think that that's not a bad way to approach betting him today.
I just don't, I don't mind it, but like if you think he's going to be the top Toyota, all right, what is it, 170? There's
Plus
just more
200.
to lose than what there is to gain, in this type of race, because of what we don't expect. He has a big advantage of where he's starting, but it all could change because of track position. And I think, he probably only, I don't know, Kurt Busch can do it, I think. And like I said, Hamlin was hard to figure out because, he put down some good laps, but he also had some issues too, missing, spots on the road and key areas and things of that nature. So, I don't know. It's iffy. I just don't like the number.
I was reading
I
was reading an article this week. Did they take out the carousel?
Yeah.
And what did they do? They added 20 laps to the race?
Right, yeah. It's a 2-mile race, basically. 2-mile lap.
Okay.
Went from 90 laps to 110.
So top Chevy, right? Now, I went back last night after we grinded for 6 hours. I watched the whole Coda race from earlier this year. And I mean, man, if you look at the end of that race, the 3 Chevys that were there were Chastain, Allmendinger, and Reddick bouncing off each other to try to get the win. And Alex Bowman was the 4th Chevy there at the end, right? Obviously, they did not look as good as Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson did in practice. What do you make of that? Because the Chevys that were strong at Coda were not Elliott and Larson. It was right. Chastain, Dinger, Reddick, and Bowman.
It's hard to make anything of it. It's from a manufacturer standpoint the strongest depth wise. Because you got Larson, you got Elliott, you got Chastain, you got Suarez, you've got AJ Allmendinger, Bowman and Byron, all right, are all there. But the one thing I do know, all right, is when we talk about this race, you either basically are racing to win or you're racing for points. And we don't know, for the most part, who's going to race to win and who's going to race for points. But I do know one thing, and one thing for certain, is that AJ Allmendinger will be racing to win because he's not in the point race whatsoever. All right. So he's going to be running a strategy to win this race. All right. And pound for pound, car for car, AJ Allmendinger is probably better on road courses than Chase Elliott, than Kyle Larson. Albeit not baby a bunch, but he has it. He's better than them. And they're throwing an 850 number on him to be the top Chevy. I'll take my shots at that.
How did he look in practice?
I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, like I said, he pussyfooted around a couple laps, all right, and then ran solid. But again, he was in that first group, all right, that practiced the A group. So as he got the bad draw, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, in saying that though, right? Just in terms of the fastest laps of practice one, he was seventh, 0.4 of a second off of Larson.
Right.
So I mean, he's got speed.
He's got speed. He's got expertise. He's got confidence, and I know he's going to be racing for the win. So he's going to short pit and do the right strategies that he needs to win. So that's why I'm willing to take an 850 number on him. I feel it's different. Like I feel more confident in him beating a bunch of drivers that are really good on the road courses, whereas with the Ford piece and like a Buescher and a McDowell in that range, which is basically the same price as AJ, even though they're competing against lesser drivers, I don't feel as confident with them.
Yeah, but let me throw something back at you, okay? Mm-hmm. Chevy is the deepest for sure, right? You're getting in that 8-1 range on Allmendinger. Wouldn't it make sense just to bet him at 16-1 to win the race? Because I mean, how many other cars are going to beat you? Maybe Kyle Busch, maybe a couple Fords. Don't you think? Don't you think
that's why I'm willing to do it? Because if he's the top Chevy, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the winner of the race.
But he's got probably a better chance than that 16-1 number.
True. But I mean, the other piece too is like, I don't think the numbers are going to go down that fast because Chase and Kyle are going to, just cruise on along during the first stage. Like, I think we're going to get some good numbers throughout the entire race.
What do you think about?
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I know you do.
I look. I just flat out. I think Kyle Busch is going to win today.
Yeah.
All right. I think he's going to win today.
Let's go.
That's why.
I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. That's what I'm here for.
That's why. Because like Kyle Busch is just laying back. He has the best car this year. How do you present it?
I mean, maybe though. Ross Chastain's right there.
Yeah, he's right there. All right, but
are you betting that? Are you going to bet him at 12-1 pre-race?
I might. He would be the only one.
And then if you do it, I'm in, bro. I'm in.
The other one that I'm thinking about too, and I thought about it with the top Chevy was, when you go back to Coda, you were talking about how great, the finish was between the Chevys. Well, it might not have been a very good finish if Daniel Suarez didn't have power steering issues because he was that freaking good.
True.
He had like a Hocevar car yesterday, before his issues.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
so
the first
part of me wants to say, why not take Suarez and Allmendinger to be the top Chevy, or just take Suarez at 25-1 to win, because I think Daniel Suarez is going to be a threat today.
I mean, he looked so good early in that race at Coda, so good.
And I think he's a driver, that needs to race for the win. Like, I don't think he's going to point his way into the playoffs.
I'll tell you why I like the Kyle Busch call, because the first driver that you and I talked about on Monday night in our chat was what we thought they would set the odds at Kyle Busch at, right? because we knew he would be good. I mean,
You're
12.
getting a lot of value on Kyle Busch.
Yeah, 12-1 is a fair price, definitely.
And these road tracks are crazy, man, because you got to be careful with your betting. Because like if you look on Twitter,
we haven't really bet pre other than stage 1. We've just been hitting the winner live on these road tracks.
Right. But if you look at Twitter, like everybody at the beginning of the week was on Will Byron. He came out 30-1, man. Oh man, his results are a lot better, than his car's a lot better than what his results are, And I don't disagree with that whatsoever, man. And like so many people bet the son of a gun that they moved his numbers down to like 18-1. And like, man, we're getting us all this CLV, blah 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 blah. Well, guess what happened? Well, Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott crushed it in practice, and guess what his numbers back to now? 30-1.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Looking at the other markets, right? Any matchups or groups that you looked at that you liked?
There was only one on DK, and it was Chase Elliott. I think is like a -160 against. Let me pull it up to give you the exact number.
He's -175 against Ross Chastain.
Yeah. Ross Chastain's 160. So
that's a good price.
I would take my chances at Ross Chastain. I'm not going to bet it, but that's the only one that intrigued me.
How good do you think Chris Bell and Tyler Reddick are today?
It's hard to tell. Chris Bell, like I said, he had some steering issues. So if they got it fixed, I think he's going to be good. Tyler Reddick, I think, is a driver on these road courses that puts down good individual laps. I don't know if he's good on the longer run, like from a driver perspective and from a speed perspective. We didn't even mention him when we were talking about the Chevys. That's how loaded the Chevys are.
I know. Are you going to be in the stage 1 streets with your boy Jay?
I will not.
Why? Why, Coop?
Because when the numbers come out, I'm expecting Larson to be 250. I'm expecting Elliott to be 300. I don't think you can pin one of them. I think you got to bet both of them.
You think it'll be that low?
Yeah, I think it'll be that low. And then we don't know if they're going to pit before the end of the stage or if they're going to stay out. And if they stay out, you're going to get the win. It's going to be one of the two. If they pit, hell no. Who knows who's going to stay out and who's going to pit? I could pit. I have no freaking clue. It all comes down. I mean, it could end up being like a 50-1. Who was in 15th place.
Coop's trying to talk me off the stage 1.
God. I think the risk for what you're potentially winning doesn't pay out.
I'll buy that. I want to see the number.
Right, but you think it's going to be what, 400 or 500?
I don't know. I really don't know. I can't believe that he's plus 380 to win the race today.
Yeah, I mean, he's plus 380 to win the race. Like, he's going to be lower than that to win the stage.
Yeah,
he's lower than that to win. He's lower than that to be the top Chevy, both of them. So I think it's going to be 250 and 300.
Who do you think, if you had to take one of the Chevys today, right, and it was Larson or Elliott to win the race, who do you think? Who wins today?
Chase,
huh? I think that they're so close, man.
No doubt they are. So, hold on. We talked about Ford. We talked about Chevy manufacturer. We talked about Kyle Busch winning. All right. So here's another little interesting thing. I don't know how to approach it or not. How, it's clear cut that Larson, Elliott, and Ross are the 3 fastest cars from yesterday. It's also clear cut. Like, what do you think their numbers are going to be at the end of stage 1?
How many
they're going
laps?
to drive away.
How many laps?
20.
I would say that Elliott will be the leader will be plus 275, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the guy in second will probably be 3-1.
Do you have any interest in betting them whatsoever?
I mean, we could be in a position where you and I are like, man, like Kyle's got the 3rd best car, and these 2 Chevys are just gone. Like, the number could, like, nobody wants to bet a number that low, right? But the number is going to get away from us quick to the point where we're not going to be able to make money if one of them wins the race. That's going to happen quickly.
So there's 85 laps left. Kyle Larson's in first. Chase Elliott's in second. They have a 15-second lead on the field.
Yeah.
All right. One's 120, the other's 150. Are you betting them?
No.
You're just gonna let it be and ride. All right. So one thing I saw. All right. So on MGM they have prop bets, and one of the prop bets is winning car number under 10.5.
What's the price?
Well, the price is only 105 plus 105, but you're getting Larson, you're getting Ross, and you're getting Elliott.
Right.
So, do you bet that pre-race? So let's say you put a dime on it. You're at 1,000. All right. Bet 1,000, win 1,000, basically. Do you use that and just be like, hey, if that's how the race plays out, I got the 3 best cars from yesterday, and I'll just take my 1,000 and let it be.
I mean,
Or do you start looking and saying, hey, I got that in the background. One of those is going to win. Maybe I can take a shot on this 150 drive, plus 150 drive.
I like definitely having a safer bet today, like that you have going in. Like, for instance, right? Elliott and Larson are probably even money to finish in the top 3 today.
Probably. Hold on.
Chastain is probably plus 120 to finish in the top 5. Like, I'm not against taking like Chastain top 5 and Larson or Elliott in the top 3, because at least you're going to bank some money.
You ain't betting Larson and Elliott to finish top 3.
Why? What's the number?
Minus 125 and minus 105.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that, Coop. I mean, you also get Tyler Reddick, right? What was under what number?
10.5.
So you get.
You get some good cars.
Yeah, you get Cindric, you get Harvick.
But you don't get. Yeah, you get Cindric. Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah.
Yeah, you get Cindric, you get Harvick, you get Reddick, you get Chastain, you get Elliott and Larson. I like that bet.
You don't want to get Corey LaJoie and Brent Keselowski too.
I like that bet, Coop. I think that's a good angle to try.
I just look at it from it's
because
not great
chances
money.
are, if Kyle Busch wins, right, we're going to
get a much better number on
we're going to
blow that away.
We're going to be we're going to be on him at a nice solid price. So that's a good bailout option. That you get some really solid cars. You get the 3 best cars from practice, right? You get Tyler Reddick. You get a road course ringer in Cindric. I like that bet. I think that's a good bet to bet.
I think that it's plus 105, but part of me says it should be like minus 125, you know, because you're getting like all these drivers that, you know, we had talked about, you know. So I don't know. Plus, I think it kind of leaves you, you know, let's say, you know, there for whatever reason, maybe Elliott's at plus 350 and Larson's at plus 300, you know, with what 20 laps left for some reason, some way, somehow, you know. It kind of allows you to get on one of them, you know, and if you pick the wrong one, you're still going to break even from that, you know, but if you pick the right one, you're going to get a little bit more, you know. I don't know. It was just something I thought. I just think that bet is value at that price, given those numbers.
Giving the starting price right now for Elliott and Larson to win the race, I agree.
All right. So, like, hold on. No, I don't see it. So,
DraftKings and FanDuel don't even have that line up yet. It will be up, I'm sure, on DK. But Bet365, BetMGM probably has it.
I mean, if you want to be a little riskier, you know, under 8.5, which basically you get all the same drivers minus Chase Elliott, is plus 220.
I don't like that.
Right.
Anything, I mean, looking at the groups, I don't see much.
I mean, like, we didn't talk like winning manufacturer. Like, Chevy's plus 155, I think, and then Ford and Toyota are over 300. But like for Ford, you really don't know who that would be, and I think it would be, like I said before, the best car doesn't win. They just played the right strategy. And then if you're betting Toyota, I think you're really betting Kyle Busch, possibly, you know, Kurt Busch to win. But I think I would just rather bet their numbers.
Do you see the number on BetMGM? Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson to finish in the top two, minus 350?
Yeah. But then
that could definitely not happen.
Right, but like, so Chase Elliott or Kyle Larson, not both of them, one of them. But then if you scroll down just a tad, Elliott and Larson to both finish in the top three plus 300. Like,
right?
Some crazy. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
So did you like one of the manufacturers to win? Wow, Chevy's minus 165.
Wow. I mean, I like I said, I wouldn't mind throwing the money on Toyota, but like again, I don't know if there's a Toyota out there that can win other than Kyle Busch.
Right.
Denny possibly, Kurt possibly, Chris Bell, who knows, you know. But I don't know.
Did you look at the featured matchups? That's a big talking point on Twitter these days.
It's horrible. Kyle Busch is minus 185. Chastain's minus 120. Dinger's minus 140. And Briscoe's minus 135.
Jesus.
They're just bad.
That's bad.
So I don't know. I mean, I think for me, I might just start. I'm definitely taking my shot on AJ Allmendinger to be the top Chevy. You know.
Are you shots at the Fords?
That's a matter. Like, all right. So I don't want to get too involved because, you know, I could end up losing. I don't want to lose. Because,
yeah.
I mean,
I'll be honest. I'm not taking shots on the Fords.
I
I'm
mean,
not.
the thing is, like, I don't want to throw in a little bit and then, it wins and then I just get a little bit, for a great call. I don't feel confident enough putting in a full unit,
Right.
to lose it.
Yeah, like I'm probably just gonna stay away.
I mean, it's not like the 101 I'm getting on Bubba Wallace,
Maybe I'll tail you on the AJ Allmendinger top Chevy for a little bit of money, but I think that I'm just basically going to stay away. I did bet Bubba once I saw you took it at such a big number. I threw some money on him, but I'll tell you the two bets that I think I'm going into the race with. Your call on that under 9.5 or 10.5.
10.5.
And Kyle Busch to be the top Toyota at plus 200. I'm going to ride in, I think, to the race with those two. And maybe I could see like me and you taking a shot on Kyle Busch at 12-1 pre-race. Aside from that, though, it'll just be live betting. I feel good about him being the top Toyota, and I love the coverage that you have with the bet that you brought up. So I think that's going to be the way that I approach it. Maybe take Kyle Busch outright, maybe, and then I'll throw a little bit of money on Dinger because you bet him. But
I mean, don't you think that's 850, man? I don't know, man. That's just a big number for somebody like him.
I mean, like here's
when you consider that the road courses that he's finished, all right, he won the last one last year in well, I forget where it was, but he won the last one that he finished. He didn't finish the Roval, and then the first one this year, he was basically going to win until the final turn.
Right. I mean, yeah, I get it. I see the logic for sure. I mean, he's a beast on road courses. So yeah, I like the call enough to throw some money on it. So I'm going to tell you.
I just like Kyle Busch that much better for the win than Dinger, though.
Yeah, I mean, if we're being honest, so do I. Yeah, and that's why I have to bet him at top Toyota, even though it's only 2-1. I think he's going to be so far above the rest of those other cars today.
And the piece we didn't talk about, which is another plus, like there's only going to be 2 to 3 pit stops in this race. Kyle Busch has a freaking killer pit crew.
And who's better at him in restarts? There aren't many people that get off the line faster than him.
I mean, Elliott's pit crew's been solid this year, but Larson's pit crew's been not good. And I mean, sure, anybody could put down three or 2 great stops. So, that's the thing. And then same thing for vice versa. Kyle Busch's team could just have a bad day. So
I'll tell you what though. Like again, like this seems. If practice is an indication of how the race goes down, this seems kind of cut and dry. Who the cars that you think are going to be fast, right? But at the end of this race, we may very well be looking at Tyler Reddick and Allmendinger and Alex Bowman contending for a win here. I mean, you just don't know. You just don't know.
Are you trying to lay down the jinx like you did last week and say, "Oh, you said the exact same words last week"? This is a pretty cut and dry race.
I know, yeah. Hey, we got it home. At least we got it home. If you're just looking at the box score, then we did well. If you watch the race, but that's what I mean, Coop. Like this could be a total shit show, like where it's somebody you and I hop on late at 15-1 to get us home. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like that's the thing too. It's a tough race to bet because the books are getting smarter because they know the strategy is a big piece today, and I can guarantee you, 4 laps before pits happen, closed. They're not going to let you take advantage of it. Yep.
4 laps? No.
Yep. That's what they did yesterday.
I'll take that bet. 4 laps. I'll bet you $1 that doesn't happen.
So by lap 16, the books will be closed today.
All right. All right, boys. So the 2 plays that I guess you're going to get from the show is going to be I love the under 10.5 that Coop called out, the winning race number under 10.5. I'm going to tail Coop on that at plus 105. And then I'm going to take Kyle Busch to be the top Toyota at 2-1. I don't know. Oh, and also Coop is going to take Allmendinger to be the top Chevy at 8.5-1. I don't know if I'm going to get on Kyle Busch pre-race yet. I don't think Coop knows either. So we'll see. But we will be live on the Kegcast today for subscribers. We ended up picking up 8 units last night in the UFC when it was all said and done. So yeah, I encourage everybody to check it out. It's $10 a week. You can use the promo code BETS25 off. It'll get you 25% off the first week or month at Rumpure Bets. JJ and Joey are destroying baseball. There is a baseball show immediately following this show, 5 minutes from now. Holden, JJ, and Joey breaking down the entire MLB slate today. They've been on a tear. We got NBA Finals games. And obviously, what Coop and I do every week in NASCAR is just stupid. So a lot of reasons why you should be signing up. Aside from that, regardless of what you bet today, I hope your action runs pure. And we'll see the subscribers in a bit. Oh, also 1 o'clock today on the DFS side, me, Coop, JJ, breaking down the race for another hour. So aside, yeah.
I was going to say another angle, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks, is, parlaying the golf winner with the race winner, although I think it's going to be tougher today because I think golf started a little earlier than normal. With this being a later race, too.
Is somebody like the clear leader right now?
No, but you can get better numbers than what we had in the past.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so check out JJ Joey next with Holden, and then 1 o'clock, me, Coop, and JJ on the DFS side. And then 3:45 we'll be live for Kegcast subscribers. Hope you guys crush today, and we'll see you next weekend. Later.